everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome to the Pegasus Club. My name is Rohini Vij. I'm a storyteller and I'm here today to share a wonderful story with you. But as you all know, there's something different about today's session. Did you all see the poster and the video where I shared with you that I'm going to be acting out the story with you? Well, that's how this session is different today. But before we get into all of that, I want all of you to warm up a little bit with me. You know, when it comes to drama and acting, it's very important to warm up your bodies, your voices, your facial expressions. So, is everybody with me? Come on, everyone, let's say yes. Okay, so what are we going to do to warm up? Now, wherever you are, you're all in your homes and you're all tuning in by way of this wonderful platform. So, what I want you all to do is forget that there is a screen in between us. Forget that. Imagine that we are together. And imagine that in this one space together, we are all putting our hands out and wiggle, 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 wiggle. Come on, everybody, put your hands out and let's start wiggling. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, now slowly take your hands up in the air and keep wiggling your fingers even up in the air. Wiggle, 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 and bring them down. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. To the right, wiggle, 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 and to the left, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. All right, now this is slow wiggling. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of breathing, okay? I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly. Yeah, so confirm that in the chat box once. And let's take a deep breath. And ha! Okay, so this is another exercise that we will be doing because today I'm not going to let you sit. Today I'm going to make sure that you get up and start acting. Okay, so breathe in and ha! Yes, that's the way. Okay, everyone, once again, breathe in and ha! Okay, lovely. All right, now that we've done this, we're going to sing a song about facial expressions and emotions because these are very important when it comes to drama. All right, so I have a drum here, but it's okay if you don't have a drum. What you can do is tap a beat anywhere. You could clap, you could tap it on your thighs, you could tap it on the table, or even grab a cushion. Okay, so what are we going to do? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome everyone, here's your welcome song. I'll sing aloud, won't you sing along? Welcome everyone to you and all your friends. Let's sing aloud till the music ends. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done. Now everybody, whatever you're using, tap this beat with me. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you can do it. Come on, I'm going to wait for you all. Come on, everybody. Are you doing this with me? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My name is Rohini and here's your welcome song. I'll sing aloud, won't you sing along? Welcome everyone to you and all your friends. Let's sing aloud till the music ends. Now your turn to say your name. Okay? So I'm going to say my name is and then I'm going to just go be quiet and then you have to say your name. Okay? My name is, and here's your welcome song. I'll sing aloud, won't you sing along? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I must thank Harriet, a friend of mine who makes music, for this lovely welcome jingle. All right, now it's time to move on to our emotions exercise. Okay, so when you're happy, what kind of a face do you make? Do you make a happy face like this? And when you're sad, and when you're excited, and when you're confused, And when you're sleepy, and when you're angry. So we are going to sing a song about our feelings and emotions, okay? And you can use your drums if you still like. Okay. If you're happy and you know it, have a laugh. Now, children, remember one thing. When you laugh, each time you laugh, especially when you laugh out loud, there's a rush of air in your lungs. And those two little lungs start pumping. And it is amazing when it comes to that kind of exercise for your lungs, because it does wonders to your voice projection. So make sure laughing is something that you continue doing at all times, especially if you want to do public speaking and drama. Okay, so let's do this again. If you're happy and you know it, have a laugh. If you're happy and you know it, have a laugh. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, have a laugh. Now, if you're sad and you know it, have a cry. If you're sad and you know it, have a cry. If you're sad and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're sad and you know it, have a cry. If you're sleepy and you know it, you could yawn. If you're sleepy and you know it, you could yawn. If you're sleepy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're sleepy and you know it, you could yawn. If you're surprised and you know it, say ooh. If you're surprised and you know it, say ooh. If you're surprised and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're surprised and you know it, say ooh. Okay. If you're angry and you know it, you could growl. If you're angry and you know it, you could groan. If you're angry and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're angry and you know it, you could frown and growl and groan. Let's all become happy again. If you're happy and you know it, you could smile. And if you're happier, you could even laugh. But if you're really, really happy, you should laugh out loud, just like this. And throw your hands up in the air. You want to try that now, everybody? Let's go. And throw our hands up in the air. Yay! Okay. All right. So now lots of happiness, lots of warming up, lots of exercise has happened. Are you ready for the story? Okay, and now remember, you can't just be sitting over there. You have to stand up and act it out with me, okay? So the story that I bring for you is called The Barber's Secret. You all know who a barber is, right? Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, 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 chop. A barber is a person who gives you a haircut. So today's story is called The Barber's Secret. And this is a folk tale from India. I found this story in a book called Sacked, Folk Tales That You Can Carry Around. It's been written by Deepa Agarwal and published by Scholastic. And that book has lots of stories. So this is one of those stories. Now, let's get started. All right. So what happens in the story? Once upon a time, wait. Before I get started with the story, I have to tell you all something. Are you good at keeping secrets? Say, are you good at keeping secrets? Well, you need to remember one thing, that this is a story about keeping secrets. So remember to zip and lock and throw the keys, because if you keep the keys here with you and if the lips go zip, that means unzip. And if if your mouth opens and if the secret spills out, that's what the story is all about. So once upon a time, long, long, long ago, in a kingdom lived a king. And the king had a terrible secret, a very heavy secret. Now, everybody, I want you all to do this with me. Put your hands on your head and make a face as if you are going to faint. It's a very heavy burden that you're carrying on your head. And this is the secret of the king. The king had a very heavy secret that he carried around on his head all the time. And what was the secret? Everybody remove the crown. Keep it down. Give me shocked faces because the king has hee-ho, hee-ho, hee-ho. The king has donkey's ears. Oh my goodness. Can everybody gasp? Come on, everybody. Now, this is acting out story. So I want all of you to do this with me. Everyone, put your hands on your head like this and go hee-ho, 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 and gasp. You know how to gasp? And the king has donkey's ears. Yes, that was the secret of the king. And the king kept that secret concealed behind a big crown, hidden behind a big crown. And nobody in the kingdom knew about the king's secret. The queen knew, of course, but nobody else knew. Now, children, you have to remember one thing. If you don't chop your hair, what happens? It grows, right? It grows and it grows. Whether you're a man or a woman, your hair will grow if you don't chop it. And pretty soon, the king realized, so all the while the queen used to give him a haircut. But one day the king realized that the queen had gone away. And he really needed a secret. The queen had gone someplace on a holiday. And the king really needed a haircut. His hair had become really long. And he didn't know what to do. So his only choice was to call a barber. A barber to the palace. Chop, 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 chop. Now, he was very, very worried. So can you all make a worried expression? And the king, in a worried way, said, "What will I do? What should I do? The queen is not over here and I need a haircut. I will have to call a barber." Oh. Can you all do this with me, everybody? So put your hands like this in your on your heads, and like this on your hands, and say, "I'll have to call a barber." Yeah, so that's what happened. So the king sent for a barber. Now there is this one barber that I'd like all of you to meet, and you will really like him because he's a happy-go-lucky fellow. He's a jolly guy, and his name is Babban Hajam. So everybody put your hands together for Babban Hajam. Come on, let's give him a nice warm welcome. And here comes Babban Hajam. Now I want you all to make 2 pairs of scissors with your hands like this. Yes. And Babban Hajam had a song, and this is what the song went. My name is Babban Hajam. My name is Babban Hajam. Babban Hajam is my name. Chopping hair is my game. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Can you sing this with me, everybody? Babban Hajam is my name. Chopping hair is my game. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Yes. So this happy-go-lucky fellow was the favorite barber of many, because whenever they would go to his shop, he would sing and dance and make them happy. And who doesn't like this kind of a person? So the king heard that there is a happy-go-lucky, nice fellow called Babban Hajam, and he indeed is the best barber. So Babban Hajam was summoned to the palace. He was called to the palace. And Babban Hajam was excited, because normally His Majesty, the king, never ever used the services of a barber. Yes, it was a very well-known fact. He only got his hair cut from the queen. And now that the queen was not around, he had to call the barber. And who was chosen? Babban Hajam. And Babban Hajam became very, very happy, very, very excited. And he said, oh my goodness. And remember one thing, that whenever Babban Hajam was happy and excited, he always sang his favorite song, which was, now you all know it. Babban Hajam is my name, chopping hair is my game. Chop, 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 chop. So, with his scissors and his bag, Babban Hajam hopped and sang and he danced and he went over to the palace. Now, children, everybody, all of us, we are going to do this, okay? Since we are acting this out, I want you all to stand up wherever you are and we are going to do this. Everybody stand up and let's go. Chop, 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 chop. Babban Hajam is my name. Chopping hair is my game. Chop, 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 chop. Now, happily, 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 he went over to the palace. And then, the moment he reached the palace, everybody was very serious because the king was in a very bad mood. The king was angry and he was fretting and fuming. And everyone was scared because an angry king is a scary king. So when Babban Hajam reached there, Babban Hajam is my name, everybody said, shh, quiet. Stop it with that singing. The king is in a bad mood. He's called you alone to his chambers. So Babban Hajam just shrugged it off, saying, oh, he'll cool off. The moment my lovely scissors touch his head, he'll cool down and he'll forget all about his anger. I'll give him a nice massage as well. And he went inside singing and dancing and singing and dancing. Now inside, you can well imagine how the king must be feeling. For the first time in his life, a third person would know his secret. So the king was a little bit of scared. Can you make a scared face, everyone? A little bit of nervous. Yeah. A little bit of worried. And to cover all these emotions, he had put on anger. So can we all do these 2-3 emotions together, everyone? Scared, nervous, worried, and even confused. Should he really do this? And to cover all these emotions, cover, everybody cover it with anger. Yes. So, the king glared and stared at Babban Hajam and said, silence! Settle down! Now, barber, I've heard about you. I've heard that you're a jolly good fellow. But we need any singing and dancing. No, I just need a haircut. Now the king was very nervous and he started screaming and shouting. Babban Hajam got a little, all right, your majesty, sit down and I'm going to give you a haircut. The king settled down and Babban Hajam went and he put a towel around his neck so that the hair don't fall onto his very expensive robes. And the moment he sat down and Babban Hajam picked up his scissors, the king said, let it be, I've decided not to get a haircut. So can you do this with me, everybody? Now the king is very nervous. You have to understand his state of mind. Okay, so everybody go, let it be, I've decided not to get a haircut. And Babban Hajam said, why, your majesty? I give the best haircut in the world. Oh, just wait for my lovely scissors to touch your scalp because Babban Hajam is my name. Chopping hair is my game. Chop, 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 chop. Silence! Enough with this song. Now you, Babban Hajam, you better stand there because I'm about to tell you something. Something that is going to blow your mind off. And I need you to be quiet. Now, can you all do this? Of course, not the entire line, but I want you all to just do this with me. Silence! And remember, you can put your hand out like this and make an angry face. Okay, so everyone together with me. Silence! Yes, good. Now, the king And he was wearing that towel and everything around. And he had finally decided that he's going to tell Babban Hajam his secret because he really did need that haircut. So everyone, now imagine that you're the king. So if you're the king, you're going to be a little bit angry, a little bit nervous, a little bit scared, a little bit worried, a little bit confused. And you have your crown here on top of your head. And now, everyone with me, on the count of 3, we will remove the crown, okay? 1, 2, 3. He removed the crown and kept it. And now can you imagine Babban Hajam's expressions? Now all of you have to put yourselves in Babban Hajam's shoes. Had you been there, how would you have reacted? Everyone, give me that face quickly. Babban Hajam stood staring, and then soon after the staring, he said, Your Majesty, Your Majesty, Your Majesty, Your Majesty, I did not know you like fancy dress parties. Silence! Now, this is the funny part, okay? So now I want all of you to first show me that you are completely bewildered. You're like, and shocked. And then after that, everyone has to burst out laughing, okay? So let's do this together. And laugh. Yes. Okay, so now the king again said his favorite dialogue, in which was silence. And then he said, I don't like fancy dress. Now you, Baba, listen carefully. This is my secret. A very heavy secret that I carry on my head all the time. And now you know about this secret too. And so, Mr. Baba, in case this secret gets out of the 4 walls of this palace, you will not live another day. Now, Babban Hajam got very scared because the king was serious. And Babban Hajam said, Your Majesty, are you a donkey? Why do you have donkey's ears? Silence! I'm not a donkey. I just have donkey's ears. Come here quietly and give me a haircut. And so poor Babban Hajam went over to the king and he started cutting his hair, and his hands were trembling all along, and his song changed to Babban Hajam is my name. How I wish chopping hair was not my game. Chop, 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 chop. And poor fellow, he cut off his hair with so much difficulty. And then when he was about to wrap up his things and go, the king said, I hope you remember, you cannot share this secret with anybody. And he said, Yes, Your Majesty, I understand. So can you all gulp very, very nervously? Everybody, Yes, Your Majesty, I understand. And poor fellow left from there. Now, Babban Hajam, this happy-go-lucky Baba, completely changed under the burden of the secret. He became sad, long-faced, pale and nervous all the time. Yes, he couldn't sing his favorite song. Every time he would just add that extra line, how I wish chopping hair was not my game. Chop, chop, chop. Yeah, instead of chop, 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 he started doing chop, chop, chop. And this made everybody really worried. What was wrong with Babban Hajam, the happy-go-lucky Baba? Everyone was really, really concerned about him. And they thought that he surely has got some kind of illness. So can you all, everybody say with me, I wonder what happened to good old Babban Hajam. Can you all do this? As if you're genuinely concerned about somebody and you genuinely miss their singing and laughing and dancing and their cheerful nature. So everybody, let's go. I wonder what happened to Babban Hajam. Such a happy-go-lucky fellow he was. So sad. So sad. And that's how it became. But now, children, as you know, when you are carrying a secret, it tends to go here and there and here and there. It's very difficult to digest a secret. And a secret such as the one that Babban Hajam was carrying was a very big secret. And he really wanted to share it with somebody, at least his wife or maybe his best friend. Oh, I wish I could tell my wife that the king has... No, I can't. I wish I could tell my best friend the king has... But no, I can't. So poor fellow Babban Hajam was on the verge of a breakdown because the secret was giving him a stomachache. So everybody, let's all stand up and do this. All of us, what are we going to do? We are going to hold our bellies, our stomachs, and we're going to go, the king has... Oh my god, the king has... I can't have a stomachache. So Babban Hajam suffered from stomach aches, Babban Hajam suffered from nervous breakdowns, and Babban Hajam became a sad fellow. Now one day, he decided, I have had enough and I need to tell somebody. So he woke up in the middle of the night, he got an idea and he rushed to the forest and he saw all around and he looked for a tree, the tallest, most magnificent tree in the forest. And he rushed there. There happened to be a hole in the tree. There was a small hollow over there. And he went and he whispered the secret in the knothole of the tree. And what did he say? So it's like a knothole is like a little gap inside the trunk of a tree, like a little hollow space. And it looked like the ear of a person. So Babban Hajam went and whispered in the knothole. And what did he whisper? Everybody with me, come on, let's whisper. King has donkey's ears. Oh, I said it. Oh, the secret is out of my system. Oh, it's not going to give me a stomachache anymore, any longer. So everyone with me. Come on, everyone. The king has donkeys. Yes, yeah, hooray. I said it. I shared the secret. He was so happy, he started dancing around in the forest. And then he said, Royal Majesty, the king of the land has donkey's ears. And once again, Babban Hajam became a happy-go-lucky fellow. And he came back to his normal ways. Now that the secret was not there inside his stomach, now that the secret was not giving him a stomachache, he became a funny guy again. And his wife was relieved. Everyone in the village was relieved. And everyone was happy. And Babban Hajam thought he was really clever because he hadn't told a human being about it. He had told a tree. And a tree cannot talk, right? So he was happy. Now, a few months went by. And Babban Hajam was happy and back to his normal ways. When there was suddenly an announcement from the king's courts. It is the king's birthday. So everybody, let's all do this. Suno, suno, suno. Listen. Come on, everyone. Suno. Listen. It is the Royal Majesty's birthday. And he has invited everyone in the village for a royal feast. So everyone together with me. Suno. Listen. You are invited to the palace for a royal feast. Everybody liked the sound of that. A royal feast means tasty food. So can you all do this with me? Tasty food, delicious, lip smacking, yummy food. So everybody got ready and went to the palace for the king's royal birthday party. Now, something had happened in the meantime that nobody knew. But I'm the storyteller and you're the story listeners, and I can share this secret with you. What had happened was that after Babban Hajam had whispered the secret into the knothole of the tree, somebody had come to the forest and chopped off that tree because it was the most magnificent tree after all. And using the wood of that tree, they had made 3 musical instruments. Yes, they had made a harmonium, la 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 la, a tabla, and a sarangi. And with these 3 musical instruments, that somebody, the great musician, had gone to the king's court as a performer on the king's birthday. That's right! Now, this fellow did not know anything about the secret. He had just seen that lovely tree and he thought that it was perfect for his musical instruments. Now, everyone was in the palace and the king was feeling very excited, and he was sitting with a nice big crown on his head. And he was happy. And Babban Hajam also looked at the king and smiled at him. So can you all do this with me, everyone? Yeah. And what had happened was that the entire tree had not been chopped off. Only a bit of the tree had been chopped off. The portion where the secret had been whispered. That whole portion where there was a knothole. A lot of times wood is used to make musical instruments, right? So that entire portion had been taken and 3 lovely instruments had been crafted. And the king was smiling and the king said, "All right, let the celebration begin." Now, everybody was ready and the musician bowed in front of the king. So everyone with me, can you all bow with me like that? Yes, very nice. The musician bowed in front of the king and the musician said, "Your Majesty, I have the best and the most amazing musical instruments, and I am going to present before you wonderful music." Now, everyone, I want you all to pretend to be the musicians. So everyone with a face that has a lot of pride, and let's take a bow and say, "Your Majesty, I have the best musical instruments and I am going to present the best song ever for you." That's right. And the king was very happy and the king said, "Yes, yes, go ahead, go ahead. I can see a fantastic harmonium, a lovely pair of tablas, and a nice sarangi too. Let's get started then with the celebration." And the man said, "Yes, Your Majesty, yes." Now, he started tuning his harmonium and he said, "Sa." Everyone with me? So if you've seen a harmonium, you have to fan it and then it has a keyboard. So you have to keep fanning with one hand and then playing the keys with the other hand. And let's sing Sa. And after a little while, the man realized that when he was not singing, his harmonium was singing on his own. Yes, the harmonium was singing. And what was the harmonium singing? The man was confused. The musician was confused. Can you all give me a confused expression? And suddenly the harmonium started singing on its own. And what did it sing? Oh, donkey's ears, donkey's ears. And suddenly, everyone was confused. And just then the tablas started beating on their own and the tablas went, "The king has, the king has." And then the sarangi started singing on its own, "Donkey's ears, donkey's ears, donkey's ears, The king has donkey's ears. The man, the musician, had no clue what was happening. He looked at his musical instruments and he looked at all the people in the gathering, and everybody's jaws had dropped like this. And the king. So everybody, can you all do this with me? And the king was holding onto his crown like that. And Babban Hajam, oh my goodness, Babban Hajam was getting nervous. So everyone, let's all do like a nervous shake. And Babban Hajam had no clue what was happening. And just then the tablas went, who told you, who told you, who told you? Can you all do this with me? Who told you, who told you, who told you? And the sarangi and the harmonium together went, Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam. Oh my God, when this happened, it was hilarious because everybody looked from the king to Babban Hajam, from the king to Babban Hajam. So everybody, can you all do this with me? Everyone, come on. From the king to Babban Hajam, from the king to Babban Hajam. Everybody was completely confused. And what happened? What did Babban Hajam do? He said, no, I did not say anything. And the king got up and said, silence. Yes, that is his favorite dialogue. Babban Hajam, I had told you that if this secret gets out, chop, chop, chop. And Babban Hajam said, Your Majesty, I did not tell anybody. I just told a tree. And the musician said, oh, was it the biggest tree in the forest? Yes, that tree. I had cut off a branch from that tree to make these beautiful instruments. Oh no! Oh my God, the tree was listening. It's the tree, Your Majesty, not me. I don't care. So let's act out this portion, everybody, together. So if you're Babban Hajam, so we have to do 2 characters, okay? Babban Hajam, actually 3 characters. Babban Hajam, musician and tree, okay? So everyone, like Babban Hajam, Your Majesty, I did not say a word. And now the king. How did the musician know? And the musician, I didn't know anything. I did not say anything. It's the musical instruments. And now Babban Hajam, I told a tree. And the musician, and I crafted my musical instruments with a branch, with that wood from that tree. And the king, take him to the dungeons and prepare for chop, chop, chop. Now everybody with me, like the king. Take him to the dungeons and chop, chop, chop. So Babban Hajam was dragged and taken to the dungeons, and the king was mighty angry, and the musical instruments went singing again. Donkey's ears, donkey's ears, the king has donkey's ears. Who told you, who told you, who told you? Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam. The musical instruments were not keeping quiet only, so they had to be taken away as well. The king was very upset, and the king was pacing up and down. But in the meantime, everyone in the kingdom said, our king has donkey's ears. Our king is a donkey. We've been ruled by a donkey. So everybody, can we all do this together? We are going to pretend to be the general public, okay? The general public who's just heard about something like that. So come on, everyone. Our king has donkey's ears. Oh my God. We are being ruled by a donkey. Donkey's ears. My goodness. We don't need this donkey. And while this was happening, everyone was really, really worried. But in the meantime, while the king was pacing up and down, up and down, up and down, and the queen was also pacing up and down, up and down, up and down, let's all also start pacing up and down, up and down, up and down. Come on, everyone. How do you pace up and down? Up and down. I want you all to move up and down like this. What will I do now? What will I do now? What will I do now? Everyone knows my secret. Everyone knows my secret. Okay, so come on, everybody, like this. Pace up and down, up and down. What will I do now? What will I do now? Everyone knows my my secret. Everyone knows my secret. So the king was pacing up and down, and the queen was pacing behind him. And the people outside were upset as well. Just then, Babban Hajam's wife came out and said, all of you, you're all morons. Yeah, so everyone, can you do this with me? Now, this woman, Babban Hajam's wife, was this tiny little woman, very short in height, okay? But she was very, very, very intelligent. So she came out with her hands on her side like this, and she said, all of you, you're all morons. Can you all do this with me, everyone? All of you, you're all morons. And everybody said, why? So what if the king has donkey's ears? So what? It doesn't matter. Have you ever had any problem in this kingdom? And all the people said, no. Has anybody ever suffered from poverty? And everyone said, no. Has the king always been kind to you? And everyone said, yes. So then, how does it matter how a king looks as long as he's ruling properly? That is why I said, you're all morons. So everyone, let's do this, okay? So this tiny little woman had a point. So come on, like this. And then she said, all of you, has the king ever let us down? And now, like the public, all of you will say no. Has the king ever been unkind to you? Everybody, no. So finally, everyone realized no matter how a person looks, it doesn't matter as long as they're kind and nice and just. And their king was an amazing king. So, donkey's ears or not, it doesn't matter. So all the people rushed to the palace and they said, it doesn't matter if you have donkey's ears or not. We love you. Come on, everyone, let's tap this beat. Donkey's ears or not. We love you. Donkey's ears or not. We love you. Yes. And this is how the king heard this, and he came rushing out, and finally he heard that his people love him. They don't care how he looks. So he removed his crown, his heavy secret. Come on, everybody, remove it. And everybody saw the donkey's ears, and everybody gasped because it was shocking. So can you all gasp with me? Come on. Can you do that? Come on. And then the king got worried. What if they change their mind? But again, the people said, donkey's ears or not. We love you. Donkey's ears or not. We love you. Yes, thank you for beating the tune with me. Now, the queen came to the king and said, see, finally you can remove this big burden from your head. And all this happened because of, and everyone said, Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam, Babban Hajam. And Babban Hajam was brought out of the dungeons, and Babban Hajam was very happy. He was happy because he was not in trouble and there was no chop going to happen. But he was happy because finally the secret was out. The burden was off. And Babban Hajam got very excited, and then he sang his favorite song. So everybody sing with me. Come on, get the scissors out. Babban Hajam is my name. Chopping hair is my game. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Yes, and everybody was happy. They all lived happily ever after. And that is the end of the story. So finally, everybody was rid of the secret, and the king was rid of the burden, and all thanks to a secret that gave Babban Hajam a stomachache. So that was the story. I really like this story. I really love it. In fact, like I said, it's a folktale from India. And you can read so many stories, and you can get the book and you can read. There are so many other stories. But the idea behind today's class, today's session was that if you learn how to act out stories, then you can share stories like this in an entertaining manner with anybody. So today you've heard this story and you can act it out in front of your entire family. You can put up a play as well with them and act it out. It is a hilarious tale. And some of the children over here, some of the people are, asking why chop trees. Yes, that's right. It's not good to chop trees at all. So I want you all to know that the tree was not chopped. Only a few branches from the tree were taken. The wood was taken to craft the musical instruments. Okay, so the tree was not chopped at all in the story. And it's not good to chop trees at all. So on that note, remember that this story was not intended to hurt your feelings or the environment at all. It was just a little bit of wood that was taken from the trees. So I hope you enjoyed this story, because I loved sharing it with all of you. Read lots of books, tell lots of stories, and you will realize how amazing it is. And before